What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the podcast. Um, Nathan Marzian here, joined by Brandon Eckel, back from Vegas. Um, he wasn't here for how long were you there for?
I was there for almost a week, like 5, 6 days.
And how was it? How was the experience?
It was a lot of fun. I was just telling Nate beforehand, who was watching the games, and there's a lot of upset Chief fans that had obviously a good amount of money on the game when they lost. But yeah, it was a fun time. Good time to watch football. Would be fun to go there when basketball's going on as well, though. So
Yeah, I definitely want to go to Vegas sometime, preferably soon when I'm in my 20s and everything, and definitely when there's a lot of sports going on. Do a lot of sports betting and probably lose a lot of money, but um, yeah. But I'm sure it's a fun time. I've never been there, but looking forward to hopefully going there soon. And did you watch the Packer game and everything?
Yep, I did. Man, felt really good at the start, obviously, and then it just was like, God, this team can hardly move the ball, can't score. The defense was obviously the only thing keeping us in that game at that point. But win's a win.
Yeah, so let's get into it a little bit. So we're gonna go Packers Bucks recap. We're gonna be previewing briefly the Packers Patriots game this week, talking about some Bucks trade rumors that are going on, Jordan Clarkson, Jay Crowder, and then we're doing brief NFL Week 4 picks. So we'll start out Packers Buccaneers. Packers win 14-12. Offense was absolutely rolling for the first quarter and a half. Looked like they're up 14-3, about to go up 21-3. And then the Aaron Jones fumble happens
Mm-hmm.
and the offense completely just shuts down. And this is something that I just wrote an article about it yesterday, did some research on, it feels like this happens all the time. And it has happened quite a bit in the LaFleur era where they just one mistake or one, thing happens, they get off to a bad start and they just completely unravel. And definitely frustrating. I mean, before the Jones fumble, I have the stats here. So we're going to do before versus after the fumble. So before 27 plays, after 33 plays. And that was said they ran 27 plays in basically the first 2.5 drives. And over the next like 10 drives, they ran 33 plays total.
Jeez.
Had obviously 14 points, about to be 21, and did not score the rest of the game after that. They were at 0.53 EPA per play before the fumble, negative 0.46 after. Before the fumble, 59% success rate, 27% after. Before the fumble, 5 of 5 on third down, 1 of 9 after. And before the fumble, they were averaging 7.5 yards per play after 3.3. So, needless to say, it got ugly. Luckily, they held on, won the game. The defense stepped up.
Yeah.
Special teams was pretty good. But yeah, we've seen this before with the offense just unraveling at times. We've seen it it happened in the playoff game against the Niners this past year where Mercedes Lewis fumbles on the second drive of the game. We were
Mm-hmm.
up 7-zip and they scored 3 points the rest of the game after that. I mean, they were just about to go down and go up 10-0, possibly 14-0 and end up losing the game 13-10 and the offense just completely shuts down, can't do anything right after that. It's frustrating. And I get that coming out of the gate, it's probably going to be you have some scripted stuff. It might be a little bit easier to move the ball, but still, I don't think it's a coincidence that this stuff happens immediately after a mistake, a turnover, and it happens often. But
Right.
I don't know. I want to get your thoughts on it, but something that I notice, and immediately when something bad happens, my mind right now is just going to please don't let this be something that completely shifts the game, and every time it has.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like when you pull up the stats, it just really emphasizes how bad the offense got. And in the moment, the biggest thing was like, I mean, what did you say the first few drives were that we on third downs?
5 of 5.
I was gonna say it was like, yeah, our first drives we were just clicking in general, but then we come up on a third down, get the first, and then yeah, it felt like because it essentially was, everything in the second half, every third down we got, we ended up punting. So I mean that was huge in the sense of time and obviously driving down the field, but um, that's definitely something that makes me nervous where they have struggled to bounce back after something like that. And obviously, a fumble, hurts, but it's not something that was like, oh my God, we're a tie game, we're down, it changes the game. Like, they should be able to bounce back from that. And the fact that they were that bad after is a little worry. So,
Yeah, and I mean, it's good that they're able to bounce back the next game. Like they're very, very good coming off of
mhm,
losses and not letting it spiral or anything like that. But it's frustrating. It seems like, on the fly, they're not able to just regroup and get things going again. The offense just sputters a lot of the time. But again, I believe they're fine, going forward and everything. They're gonna bounce back. They're gonna probably beat the crap out of the Patriots this weekend. But yeah, it's frustrating to watch that happen time and time again. We even saw it a little bit week 1. I don't know, there's no guarantee that what would have happened had Christian Watson caught that opening pass for an 80-yard touchdown. I just it's like that, Rodgers makes a perfect throw, looks like it's gonna be a 75-yard touchdown. Watson drops it, and then the offense can't do anything right the rest of the game.
yeah,
So, it's frustrating to continue to watch that happen, and it's happened quite a bit over the years. But on the positive side, the defense was awesome. Keyshawn Nixon stepped up big when Jair went out, and it sounds like the Jair injury isn't anything super bad. It doesn't look like it's long term or anything. He might be back this week. So, but Nixon was awesome when he went out, had a couple big plays defensively, and then the special teams play to he down the ball at the 1. So that was awesome to see. Special teams overall was very good. Pat O'Donnell was I believe the special teams player of the week. I want to say was probably for the NFC, but
mhm,
um, 7 punts, 5 of them inside the 20, and a long of 63. He looks awesome. I mean, it's nice to have a what looks like consistent punter. I know we kind of thought the same thing about J.K. Scott when we had him at the
mhm,
beginning. Was like this guy looks really good, and he ended up not being so good. But um, O'Donnell looks really good. Good to see that. And then another big bright spot on the offense was Romeo Dobbs
mhm.
stepped up big time with Sammy Watkins and Christian Watson out. I know you probably have some thoughts on Sammy Watkins being out because I know we were every time we talk about Sammy Watkins, you're like, yeah, you just gotta stay healthy. You just gotta, and then sure enough, a couple days before the game, oh, looks like Sammy Watkins is gonna be out.
Yeah, and the fact that it's like it felt like it was out of nowhere, and it's 4 weeks. It's like I didn't see anything happen in the game. There's guys that are like, oh, they're day to day, week to week, and it's like they're always questionable, and then it's like, oh, they end up playing. And then there's Watkins, who's like, I didn't even know he was hurt, and now he's out 4 weeks. Doesn't make sense. But glad to see Dobbs step up. I think him and Lazard could be a really good, 1-2, and once Watson gets into the swing of the offense, playing consistently. Could be good to have him. Not to mention Cobb continuing to stay involved in the offense.
Yeah, Watkins is one of those guys who you kind of just assume he's gonna be hurt, at some point, and just okay,
Hmm.
well, let's hope we have someone who can step up. But yeah, Dobbs was awesome. 8 catches on 8 targets. He caught all of his targets for 73 yards and a touchdown. What are your thoughts on him rest of the season? I mean, do you think this is something he's going to continue? Do you think this is more of a one really nice week and he'll go back to being nothing crazy, or how are you thinking?
I definitely think he could keep it up just because of how high they were on him in training camp. I mean, I know there was talks really with him and all the receivers on drops and stuff like that, but it was the same thing about Jamar Chase coming into his rookie year, and we see what happened. I'm not saying not comparing the two, but sometimes it just takes a little transition period. Guys struggle a little bit. I think he can be a really reliable weapon for Rodgers, and big player for the Packers in general. And he's got good size. He's like 6'2" or 6'3", so I like that.
Yeah, he seems to have all the things you need. Rodgers has not compared him to, but they've made. I mean, there have been comparisons to kind of Devonte Adams early in his career and everything.
Hmm.
They're not saying he's going to be Devonte Adams. They're not saying anything like that, but I mean, he's got a good combination of skills. He's got the route running, it seems like, the speed, the strength, the size, everything.
Yeah,
And Rodgers is a trust guy. We all know that, and it's good to see him build that trust immediately. A guy that caught all 8 of his targets. That's going to help you going forward. Like Rodgers, if you throw him, if when Rodgers throws you the ball, you're catching the ball. I mean, you're going to get more targets going
yeah,
forward. And um, and yeah, I mean, with guys being hurt, looks like Christian Watson being hurt, Watkins is going to be out for a little bit. I mean, Dobbs is going to have the opportunity to really step up and be pretty consistent here, and so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. Could potentially, I mean, if things do work out here, be in the running for offensive rookie of the year. Honestly, just based on the opportunity he's going to get with a great
yeah,
quarterback.
yeah, absolutely. Especially if he's second or third guy. I mean, arguably could be first, but if Lazard stays healthy, another guy that needs to stay healthy. But if he stays healthy, seems like kind of our number one, but he could be right up there. So
All right, let's get into this weekend's game against the Patriots. No Mac Jones, it sounds like for this game. It's probably going to be Brian Hoyer. I'm guessing. I know
mhm.
Mac Jones wants to play, but I don't think they're going to put him out there. Um, Patriots sitting at 1-2. They lost to the Dolphins week 1, beat the Steelers week 2, and lost to the Ravens week 3. So no bad losses, but I mean, they're a middle of the road team, probably slightly below average. They just they don't have that explosiveness offensively. They don't have
No,
those dynamic position players, skill position players. They have had a pretty decent running game so far. Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson are averaging a combined 4.8 yards a carry. And looking at EPA per play, they right now are 8th in rushing and 22nd in passing, 16th overall. And Packers are 14th overall offensively. Packers are 9th defensively, and the Patriots are 20th defensively. So I don't know. I feel very confident about this game being at home. No Mac Jones, just not believing in that offense of the Patriots very much. Their defense hasn't been anything fantastic so far this season. I don't have any doubts about this game. At receiver, the Patriots have Jacoby Myers, Nelson Aguilar, Devontae Parker. Um, again, there's nobody that scares me on that offense at
no.
all. I think the running game with our run defense has been a little bit iffy so far this year. I believe we are 20th in rush EPA per play allowed, but the Patriots actually are 31st against the run this year. So something we could definitely, and with us probably being up in the game, that'll help to be able to just, keep giving it, feed the ball to Aaron Jones, feed the ball to AJ Dillon, and let
Mhm.
those guys take us to the win. So I don't. What would you give a score prediction for this one?
I'm gonna go 31. I'm gonna go with a big win. I'm gonna go 31-13. I don't see us giving up that many points because even with our run defense not being great and their running backs being pretty solid so far, they don't feel like running backs that would just take over the game. Um,
Yeah.
Personally, to me, especially at Lambeau, and not scared of the passing attack with Brian Hoyer, and like you said, not really any weapons that scare me at wideouts. So hopefully the offense can get in a rhythm early, put up some points, and then coast, like you said, in the second half.
Yeah, I'll go 27-16 as a score prediction. And yeah, the thing I keep coming back to with these games is like just keep giving Aaron Jones the ball. Like I, no matter how you have to do it, week 1 we saw them go away from it. Week 2 they gave him the ball a ton and he was awesome. And it's like I don't care if we're down, I don't care what the situation is, just find ways to get him the ball, whether it's in the passing game, the running game, and let him take you to victory basically. Rodgers going to be able to do enough to, when he needs to.
Hmm.
He doesn't have to be superhero anymore. He doesn't have to be, throwing for 400 yards or anything like that. But um, yeah, I mean, hopefully this is just a huge Aaron Jones game. AJ Dillon can do a ton on the ground as well and just um, ride those guys to a victory. But yeah, I'll go 27-16. So both of us predicting a fairly easy win, and hopefully the Packers can get to 3-1. All right, let's talk Bucks. Um, Rumors lately are that the Bucks are interested in Jay Crowder.
Hmm.
It was also rumored that they were going after Jeremy Grant in the offseason. And it sounds like a lot of this has to do with they want kind of switchable players in the playoffs, guys that can, you aren't a liability defensively. And another guy that has been throughout this offseason kind of tied to them, and I don't think we've actually talked about him on this at all. I've tweeted my thoughts on him several times, but uh, Jordan Clarkson, I I don't even know if I've asked you about your thoughts on him. I probably have at some point, but give
See,
me
I
your.
feel like
We'll start with Jordan Clarkson, and then we'll get to Jay Crowder. But thoughts on a Jordan Clarkson trade, what you'd be willing to give up in a trade, and just how badly you want him.
I mean, I think we might have talked about it once on here because I feel like I remember us talking about how we don't feel like it'd be worth giving up like Grayson and someone else to get him. Um, I guess I still kind of feel that way, but I mean, I think I know like it seems like not that you're against getting him, but not a huge fan of getting him. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll get obviously see what you think in a sec, but I would like him, wouldn't love him. I think the potential for scoring, is obviously really high and that would help us, but I would rather have a guy like Jay Crowder that you're probably going to get for cheaper and is going to be better on defense and more of just a spot up to fit in because I don't know if we necessarily really need a score. I mean, we didn't hit shots last year in the playoffs, obviously. So
Yeah, so I am very I don't want to say anti Jordan Clarkson because I'm not like I don't want him at any, no matter what, but I'm definitely way more anti Jordan Clarkson than a lot of people that I see on Twitter. So many people just want him for, his scoring ability and, oh, we need a bench bucket getter and all that. He Yes, he averaged, 17 points per game over the last 2 years, kind of right around there for a good chunk of the last few seasons. The efficiency's not good. He's got higher usage than I mean, last 2 years, 28% usage. Drew Holiday last year was 23%, Chris Middleton was 26%. So this guy's getting more usage than Drew and Chris because he's on, the Utah Jazz.
yeah,
And no defense whatsoever, very little playmaking. It's really just okay, he plays, 30 minutes, he gets up 15 shots, he scores 17 points. Like that to me, that's not a winning player. And yes, you can potentially win six man of the year and people will think you're, a really good player because of that. But to me, I'm like, that's just a guy that is getting a lot of opportunity, a lot of shots off the bench and can put up some points.
hmm
I like that he can get to the hoop. I think that's something the Bucks could use, but like I'm not giving up Grayson Allen for him. I'm the only guys I'm giving up for him are Jordan Ward, George Hill, and a pick. I mean, I'd much rather have Grayson Allen, who is an elite. I don't care about the stupid Celtics series. He is an elite spot up shooter.
yeah,
He proved it all last season. He's been a good spot up shooter before that, even with the Grizzlies. I'm not giving that up, arguably our best spot up shooter, for a guy that, on the Bucks, he's not going to get 15 shots a game. So what is he really giving you? He's not going to give you the same scoring ability. He gives you no defense. He gives you no passing. Um, and the efficiency's bad. Like I don't get it. I think honestly, I think people fall into this trap of like, oh, he won six man of the year. That means he's the
yeah.
best bench player, one of the best bench players in the league. No, it just means he's gonna get the most opportunity off the bench. Um, or he was getting. But yeah, much more, on board with keeping Grayson than getting Jordan Clarkson. Just some numbers here. Grayson was a 94th percentile spot up shooter last year. Clarkson was 28th percentile. And I know people want to say, well, Grayson had Giannis and that changes everything. Well, before Giannis, the year before, Grayson Allen was 54th percentile. So he was still above average. He was still a good spot up shooter even before he had Giannis. You give him Giannis, obviously that's going to take him to the next level.
hmm
Whereas if you gave Jordan Clarkson Giannis, I think he just becomes a, still below average, but closer to average 3-point shooter. But it's like that doesn't I don't want an average guy. Like I don't know. And Grayson at least tries defensively. I know that I don't get the people that use, oh, we need more ball handling because of the Celtics series. There's two reasons why that's stupid. Number one, we did get more ball handling. We got Joe Ingles. And I'm not, he's not coming back right away, but Joe Ingles can run the pick and roll. Joe Ingles is going to be a ball handler off the bench that you can consistently use to at least run some offense. And B, why are you using the Celtics series where we didn't have Chris Middleton as like the norm, as this is what our team is? Because that's not what our team is. Our team normally will have Chris Middleton. We're not going to need to ask Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen, Pat Connaughton, Wesley Matthews to drive to the hoop a ton. I don't know why we're using that as our case for like, look at this team needs more ball handling. Could they use another ball handler right now? I mean, sure, but again, I'm not giving up one of my best shooters to do so.
hmm
And I think if you have Joe Ingles added and you hopefully Bud gives Javon Carter more minutes and plays him over George Hill, you're fine in terms of ball handling. Those are two ball
Yep.
handlers off the bench you can use. You've got Bobby as a bench scorer. You got Pat as a bench scorer. You got Wesley Matthews or Grayson, whoever's coming off the bench there, as a bench scorer. You're fine. And that's my rant there. But I just I don't like all these arguments people make for thinking that the world is ending because we don't get Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, and I wanted to add 2 things to that actually, to your 2. One of them being you throw Javon Carter in there, getting more minutes. That's a ball handler that you can trust, and that's not going to chuck up a ton of shots. So that's A. And B is they use the excuse about the Celtics series. The Celtics are arguably the worst team in terms of like handling the ball themselves, like their
Mhm.
players. I mean, Jalen Brown obviously was exposed as he can't handle the ball, and then you could say, well, yeah, but like you said, well, we didn't have Middleton, so we still should have beat them. So they do need ball handlers too. But it's like teams can win without ball handling. You need switchable defenders and you need shooters, and that's what Boston had and did, and we didn't. We didn't really do either. We need another 1 or 2 switchable defenders. Hopefully, we have that in Beauchamp. Hopefully, Ingles can play kind of that role when he gets back. And yeah, I mean, we just need guys to step up shooting wise. Then
Yeah, and when you say, you don't need a ton of ball handlers, you need switchable defenders and shooters, that is amplified times 20 when you have Giannis because
yeah,
Giannis can handle the ball so much, Chris can handle the ball so much, Drew's can handle the ball so much. You don't need like 4 or 5 other ball. Like that's not what you need. You have as long as those guys are healthy, and I'm gonna assume they're gonna be healthy. If one of them goes down, okay, it's gonna be tough. Like that's just the reality. I mean, I'm not planning my team around, oh well, if one of the big three goes down, we need to have
yeah,
no, like that's not how you build a team. You assume they're gonna be healthy. If they're not, if one of those main guys goes down, okay, it's gonna be tough for a series. And I'm gonna probably expect us to lose no matter what. But it's like you don't I'm not building my team around this like extra depth in case we need it. Like you have your 3 main guys that are going to handle the ball a ton, and besides that, you got a couple guys off the bench that can handle the ball. You got plenty of guys off the bench that can shoot it. Bobby can score it and get his own a little bit. Joe Ingles can now be a ball handler and get his own a little bit. Like you've got enough there to me, and I am, I'm very comfortable going into this season. Fine making moves if you want to get rid of Jordan Ward, George Hill. Like I'm not sitting here saying, "Oh, we got to keep those guys no matter." Like no, if they can get Clarkson for those guys, then sure. Like that's basically free. But um, I'm just not giving up any of our rotational like main guys because it just is not worth it to me.
yep, I totally agree with you there.
And then Jay Crowder. So we both like Jay Crowder more. I mean,
Hmm.
I he's at least someone who I think can, he's much more playable come playoff time because of his defense, his size, a little bit better, shooting overall, and he's a tough guy. He's a dog. We'll classify him as a dog, and yeah. So I like him a lot more. I don't think he's the player that he was, a few years ago.
Hmm.
I don't think he's as good of a shooter. He's not as good of a defender, but like he's still good enough that he can be impactful. That he's always playable out there. He's not someone who's going to get played off the court. Um, Around 35% last year. He was 39 the year before. But the spot up threes are what's really good. And that's again what any play that comes to the Bucks, that's going to be the most common shot you're going to take. Any role player is the spot up three. He was in the 70th percentile last year and 87th the year before, around 40% shooting spot up threes. That's what you need. He can hit spot up threes. He can defend a little bit. He's very available in trade talks. So
Yeah,
he's someone I'm more willing to um, trade for than Jordan Clarkson because I see him being a long term impactful player no matter what. Whereas again, Clarkson, there's going to be times where he gets played off the court because he just can't play defense, and if his shot's off, it's like what is he's not giving you anything.
yeah, yeah. And with Crowder, like you said, it's a guy that's more readily available. You're going to get him at a cheaper price, as I said before, especially because now it sounds like he wants out of Phoenix. So if you could get him with, it comes down to I'd much rather get Crowder without giving up Grayson than I would give up Grayson to get Clarkson.
Yeah,
So
100%.
you got to look at it like that. And if you don't, I'm not saying us two are the ones that are right, but I think it's more the casual fans that are just like, oh, Jordan Clarkson would be amazing, and it's probably the same people that say Colin Sexton's a really good player. Well, the Cavs sucked when they had him. So, at some point you can't just look at how many points a guy puts up. You have to see, does he play both sides of the ball? Does he help the team win? Does he do the little things? Crowder would fit that mold. And like you said, he's a dog. He'll fit in.
Yeah, I mean that's my thing. I just come back like Jordan Clarkson to me. He'll put up some nice point per game totals. He's not a winning player. He's not a. You don't put him on your team and say this guy's going to really just take your team to the next. Like no, he's gonna be there to get some buckets off the bench and get some shots if you have enough shots for him. But like other than that, Jay Crowder is gonna impact the game more. Jay Crowder is gonna play both ends, and I think he's just a much more valuable role player to have. And as you said, if you can get uh, Crowder without giving up Grayson, whereas Clarkson, you're giving up Grayson. Like, I mean, straight up, I'd rather have Crowder. So it's like it's not even a debate to me because I don't really want anything to do with Clarkson unless we're getting him for free. Because if you're getting him for, as I said, if you're getting him for Warren Hill, fine. Like you're not really losing anything. It's just another bench score to add. Like that's fine. I'm not saying no matter what, don't take him, but I just don't want to give up anything valuable. But all right. So those are our thoughts on the Bucks trade rumors going around. And now we will do some week 4 picks before we get out of here, NFL. So I'm going to go through, give you each game the spread, and we'll give one side or the other. We're doing this based on the spread, not just straight up. So tonight, in about 20-ish minutes, Bengals, Dolphins. Bengals are -4 at home. I'm taking Bengals.
I'm taking the Bengals too in the all-white jerseys.
All-white jerseys, they're kind of, they're started slow and they're going to be a little bit more desperate. The Dolphins coming off a kind of not, I don't want to say lucky, but a probably game they should have lost. And it was a big win, but I think they're in a little bit of a letdown spot. So
yeah,
we're both taking Bengals. The game in London, Sunday at 8:30, Vikings, Saints. The Saints are +2.5. This one's tough for me. I'm going to take the Saints.
I'm going to go opposite then. I'm going to go Vikings just because I could see them winning by maybe like a field goal, which is just over the line. So
it's not necessarily prime time, but it's a game where Kirk Cousins has to play as the only game on. So I'm going to say he's going to suck. All right. Titans at Colts. Colts -4. I am taking the Colts. I don't like the Titans.
God, I don't like either of these teams.
I don't like either one, but I think the Colts are better than the Titans.
If you like running backs and you like 30 carries a game per team, watch this game.
I was just gonna say, great running back match.
If you like ground and pound, that's what I was looking for.
Who are you taking?
Colts. I'll take Colts.
Oh, you're taking, okay.
-4, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll take Colts.
Bears at Giants. This is an ugly game. Giants -3. I'll take the Giants.
I'm going to too because the Bears offense is just very bad.
Yeah, they do not pass the ball. Bills at Ravens, a fantastic game on paper. Ravens at home are +3 to the Bills. I kind of like the Ravens.
I want to too, but I don't know if I can't bet against the Bills to lose 2 in a row, even though their defense is a little banged up.
Yeah, I don't like doing that either.
So I'm gonna have to take the Bills just because of that. But that's probably my game of the week.
I'll just take Ravens because you're taking the Bills.
Okay.
All right, Chargers at Texans. The Texans are +5 at home. I'll take the Chargers -5. They're gonna bounce back.
Banged up Herbert versus Davis Mills at home. It's a tough call, but I'll go Chargers too by a touchdown.
What's up with Austin Eckler too? They are not. He had 4 carries 4 carries last week, I think.
Did he? I know he was like struggling / not really getting much volume to start.
Yeah.
I'll have to look up his stats after this.
Seahawks at Lions. The Lions are -4.
That's kind of a big line, but I'm going Lions. I like the Lions.
I'm going Lions as well. Jets at Steelers, another kind of ugly game. Steelers are -3.
Steelers, Zach Wilson's not covering in his first game back.
Yeah, if it was Flacco, I'd pick the Jets, but I'll take Steelers. Jags at Eagles. The Jags are playing surprisingly well, and the Eagles are 3-0. Eagles are -6.5. I am taking the Eagles because they're at home.
I'm gonna too. Eagles look too good. Jaguars might be a little complacent after that big of a win against the Chargers.
Commanders at Cowboys. Cowboys -3.
Jeez, that's another bad game.
Yeah, there's some ugly ones this week, man.
I'll go Cowboys again. I'm gonna ride the Cooper Rush train.
There are honestly a lot of bad games this week.
I know after
Titans,
like a ton of good
Colts.
games the first week.
Tonight is a great game. Titans, Colts, yuck. Bears, Giants, yuck. Chargers, Texans is like meh. Seahawks, Lions, meh. Jets, Steelers, yuck. Jags, Eagles is pretty good. Commanders, Cowboys, yuck. And then we'll get to some other yuck games. But did you take Cowboys?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Cowboys to ride Cooper Rush.
Yeah, I'm taking them as well. Cooper Rush has stepped in and played pretty well. Browns at Falcons, yuck. I am taking the Browns. They're -1.
-1. Oof.
I like their running game.
Yeah, I'll go Browns too, just because of like you said. I was kind of just thinking about that. They can just hand the ball off.
You at least know they can do something very well, whereas the Falcons,
Yes.
I don't know what they can do.
With 2 running backs.
Yes. Cardinals at Panthers, another yuck game. Panthers are -1.5 at home. I am taking. Well, who are you taking?
I do not like Arizona, but I'm gonna go Arizona.
I'm gonna take the Panthers.
Do you say Panthers are favored?
Yeah, -1.5.
Okay.
Both teams 1 and 2. Broncos at Raiders. I mean, this is like before the season, you'd be like, oh, great game. The Broncos are 2-1, but they played like trash, and the Raiders are 0-3. The Raiders are -2.5 at home. I'm gonna take the Raiders.
I'm going Raiders for sure.
They're desperate. The Broncos have played terrible. I'm gonna go Raiders, yeah. And they're at home. I'm ready.
It might be a battle of who's the worst coach, Josh McDaniels or
Nathaniel Hackett.
Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah. Dude, by the way, free Javonte Williams. He's on my fantasy team, and I'm starting a campaign. He deserves – he had 44% of the snaps last week, and that dude should be at 70. Watch the games. He's the best running back on the team. Free Javonte Williams. Okay. Patriots at Packers. Packers are -9.5, so we both have Packers. And then we got 2 good games to close it out, Sunday night and Monday night, on paper at least. Chiefs at Bucks. It's a pick'em.
That's a pick'em. I'm going Chiefs. The Buccaneers offense has not showed me anything.
Yeah, I'm going Chiefs. I mean, both teams coming off a loss, but I think the Chiefs' loss was more of a like wake up for them, I think, and than the Buccaneers' loss was. So I'm gonna go Chiefs there, and then Rams at Niners on Monday night. Niners are -1.5.
I just even with Jimmy G, I don't love the Niners right now. I'm gonna go Rams.
I am gonna go Rams as well. I don't like that Niners offense a ton right now. I like their defense a lot. I like their defense a lot more than the Rams defense, but just hard for me to trust Jimmy G. All right. That does it for this episode. Thank you all for tuning in. We will have probably a post-game Packers live after the game on Twitter, and then we'll do some podcast stuff next week as well, talking about that game, previewing the next game. Maybe some Bucks news comes in as we get into the preseason. We got preseason basketball Saturday.
Yeah. Can't wait.
I'll be at the game. Brandon will be at the game. And it is finally like we're hitting that period where it's going to soon be college football, NFL, basketball, NBA, and college basketball all on at the same time. And it will be glorious. And yeah, so thank you all for tuning in. We will see you next time. Have a good one. Enjoy the Bengals covering -4 tonight. See you later.